I'm a biologist, and actually all my studies and all the research time was on entomology, so it's the study of insects and spider groups. And,
that's so exciting.
And actually they are really forgotten because everyone's saying, oh, bugs.
Hello, lovely people. I am so excited. The dude, being the dude, is just amazing. He said, I found a campsite that I think you might like. And oh my word, it is a campsite of note. It's full of biodiversity. It's just screaming nature, and the spaces between the campsites are just amazing. And I found a kindred spirit here.
Oh gosh.
And this is Tanya from the name of the campsite?
Bubulcus and Bolotas. It is
Bubulcus and Bolotas.
It's a difficult name, but it does reflect what we want here, which is like, you know, connect people with nature. Because Bubulcus is the name of a bird, and Bolotas is the acorns of these trees. So
there you go. So you're going to absolutely love this campsite as well. If you love nature, you have to come here. It's absolutely stunning.
Well, for us, obviously, I mean, this was a total shift in lifestyle. I mean, we were, as most of European people or most people around the world, we were city people living in the middle of the cities, and we said, no, that's it. I mean, Valdemar and I, we decided to go and live in the middle of nature and in the most sustainable way possible. So basically there were two things that we wanted here. One is to be off-grid and show that you can be sustainable without compromising on your own comfort, because comfort is nice, we also like it. And the second thing is to connect with nature and to help people connecting with nature, because actually you cannot take care of things that you do not connect with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if you live in a city, in like a whole bunch of apartment stores, I mean, you don't recognize these trees.
No.
Or you don't see
the bugs.
The bugs passing around, or the flowers. I mean, with luck, you have a tiny little city garden where you go to.
Yeah. Or a balcony.
Yeah, or a balcony with a couple of pods, which is a pity. So basically, we want to call people like, go out. You know, go and see these trees, which you might not guess, but
this isn't a cork oak. This is
a stone oak.
Stone oak.
And this is probably much older than you and I think.
Wow.
Because they actually, well, the name stone oak, so that's because they live on really poor soil. I mean, it's basically primary sandy soil. That was this is granite. You might see around this really big rocks. And they are eroded, and you get this sandy sort of soil with not much organic matter. And they can survive there, but they just need their time and not to be disturbed. I mean, their roots are not what you are used to, the roots that go down.
Go deep.
But they are really shallow because they can't go down. There's rocks.
There's rocks.
I mean, so they spread around, and that's why they are really sensitive to.
So you can't stand on the roots.
Well, actually, no. That's one of the biggest problems here in this soil, because this type of soil, it harbors a really specific type of habitats and diversity.
That's a soil microbiome. Is that correct? Yeah.
As well.
I've been learning.
No, as well. I mean, if I would dare people, I would challenge people to just, go down and look on the soil, and first you don't see anything, and then you start discovering layers upon layers, because you have the insects and the spiders and the solifugus, which are really cool animals. Solifugus. It's a sort of spider-like things, but don't bother about the name.
Cool. Yeah.
Don't bother about the name, because that's not important. It's to live them. To see them.
Right.
And then you go down and you see the nematodes, or you know that they are there, and you have the fungi and the bacteria, so-called the microbiome of the soil, which is extremely important, because this is really dry area. This is extreme environment. So you need those animals and those bacteria and those fungi to decompose everything and to give the nutrients back to the soil. So if chemical is not a problem here, luckily enough, because we don't have, nothing farming around. The tillage, which is also a normal problem with the tillage and plowing with soil.
Because it just disrupts the whole soil.
You can imagine this takes
it's like having a hurricane coming through a neighborhood.
Exactly. Imagine a big enterprise, really well organized. I'm getting a urban kind of metaphor to see if it possible. Like imagine a big enterprise, really well organized in a building of 100 stores. I mean, whatever. And then it's all messed around.
Yeah.
So you lose all your
Exactly.
organization, you lose all the functioning.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's what happens when you
all the
disturb.
infrastructure.
Exactly, you disturb that organization,
Yeah.
that sort of structure that took a lot of time to
Yeah.
get, to balance,
develop.
to have in a equilibrium,
Yeah.
and it's all put upside down.
Right.
So
Right.
all the efforts afterwards are to rebuild that structure.
And it takes a long time, right?
Nature has its own time,
Yeah.
and it's a different time scale.
Yes. Yeah.
And there are things that go fast, there are things that take a lot of time.
Exactly.
And it's their own time, and we just need to learn to
be patient.
respect it. And respect it.
Exactly.
And okay, that is also not a problem with these trees. The problem with these is what we often forget, which is soil compactation.
Right.
Because like by simply walking,
Yeah.
what are we doing? We are making pressure.
Yeah.
And if we walk a lot, you even
Yeah, you
see
can
here,
see the tracks,
we have specific paths where
Yeah.
people can walk
Yeah.
and the cars can circulate it, exactly to minimize the impact.
Right.
Because here it grows a lot less than there, obviously.
Yeah.
Because, the soil, you have the mineral part and you have the organical part, which is rather poor here.
Yeah.
You have the water, you have all the organisms, but you also have space
Right.
and air in between,
Yes.
obviously.
Yes. Yes.
And by pressuring,
Yes.
that starts disappearing.
So, is that the provision of oxygen to the soil?
As well,
Okay.
not only,
Yeah.
but as well.
But
it's also a
makes
niche.
it more difficult to.
It's also a space. I mean, if I'm an insect and I'm living there, I need my space.
Exactly. I also want my space.
Exactly. We all like our space. I mean, it's like if you have something crashing your
Yeah.
camper
hey,
or
back
like,
off.
exactly. Now your camper was this and now it starts getting squeezed and
I get it.
it just doesn't work.
I get it.
And that's the same in the soils and in the roots.
Yeah.
Because when
That
we
makes
pressure,
sense, yes.
we are also making pressure to the roots. So you have two impacts here, a much direct impact, immediate impact on the tree, and you have an impact at the longer run on the whole soil structure. And compactation is really often forgotten, I think.
That's so cool.
We really learn about it a lot here.
Yeah.
Because then, you also learn with mistakes. Oops. No, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, because this ecosystem is so slow or so extreme in recovering that things that happened 5 years ago, you still see.
Wow.
I mean, we had once a camper that decided to go off-road. After we had explained why not. But anyway, it just made some pressure on the soil. And that was it.
Yeah.
We still see it. You probably don't because you don't know where it is.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I know it.
Sure.
So I mean,
please, guys, respect nature. Just don't go willy-nilly off-road, especially in a sensitive environment like this.
well, there are other environments that can recover much
Yeah.
faster. And if it's just once, it's not a problem. But then it comes a twice, second,
and then it becomes a
fourth.
path.
And becomes a path, exactly.
Yeah.
But to respect, I think you need to go out.
Yes.
I think, and that's actually my challenge. People just go outside, You don't need to know the names of Sullifugus, spiders, birds, bubulcus, whatever. That's not the point. Go outside, go down your 1 meter 70, look at the soil and see what you have there. Yeah. And once you see it, you see something, you experience it with all your senses. I mean, it's not just seeing. You have to see it, you have to listen, you have to taste it, to smell it, to touch even. And then you see it and you see more. Every time that you see something, you see more. And if you see more, you want to take care of it and you want to see more even. So it gets a positive feedback loop. So just go outside, put your feet on the soil and just enjoy it because...
See? Barefoot in the soil, it's so good for your soul. So good for your soul.
No, but it's just... I mean, I don't know about everyone. I cannot talk by everyone. I talk for myself. It makes me much happier.
Me too.
I mean, so I can imagine that it has to do something. And again, I mean, looking at this tree, we need to preserve it.
Yeah, exactly.
But to preserve it, we need to know it.
Yeah, to understand it and connect.
To understand how it, and to connect with it.
Yeah.
And once we connect, then...
What I absolutely love about Tanya is that she reminds me so much of my mom. We had the privilege of growing up with an absolute nature freak. She was so passionate about nature. And when we were little, tiny tots, she would take us around the garden. It was in Zanin. It was called Zanin back then. and it was a farm, and we had baboons, and it was bordering the Kruger Park.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
And she took us around. We had a rinkhouse. Do you know the?
Yeah.
Very venomous snake in South Africa, but we had one living next door to us, and Mum just taught us how to live with them, how to cohabit.
Yeah, but that's the point. I mean, people are scared of what they don't know. How many times we get here the question, oh, do you have snakes? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
But actually here is really comfortable because we don't have anything that can harm us.
Yeah.
So it's just, in that sense, Europe in general is quite comfortable to be out.
It's a bit easier.
But in any case, it's just a matter of knowing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once you know it, you don't fear it anymore.
Exactly. I love bugs. She loves bugs, but it's just, Tanya is a biologist. Yeah. She knows a lot more about this than I do. I feel so sorry for snakes, spiders, and sharks. Yeah. They've really got the raw end of the deal because everybody hates them.
Yeah, just again because
Thanks
they don't
to
know.
Hollywood.
Yeah, but because they don't
blaming
know.
Hollywood.
It's just a question of misconceptions.
Yeah.
It's so simple as we cannot like or love what we do not know.
Exactly.
I mean, it goes also with human beings. It also goes with nature. It also goes with actually with everything. I mean, we need to know. We need to connect. We need to feel bound, and then everything comes
into place. Then the relationship
place.
begins. Yeah. Exactly.
And then you get a kind of dating, and then you never get out of here, because I will never get out of here. But and I was born a city person, so
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I was born in Lisbon, and all my life was in cities. Lived abroad, but always in cities, and then I just that's it.
Very cool.
I mean, if you are not happy, that's another thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my personal view, obviously, but take a chance.
Yeah.
If you're not happy, take a chance.
So being in nature isn't just about walking. Running through it or cycling through it. It's also about just spending time. Take the time to just calm down, sit down, observe, watch ants. Spend 10 minutes.
You learn a lot.
I could spend 5 hours watching ants.
You learn a lot.
The little highway that's over here.
Yeah.
I mean, if ever you saw proof that tiny, small, repetitive actions make a difference.
Yeah, that's no doubt at all.
That's incredible.
There's no doubt at all. And I mean, in when we talk about going to nature, people always think on big nature areas, Kruger, which is fantastic by the way. But anyway, but you don't. It doesn't need to be that. It can just be a tiny little 50 by 50 square where you sit down and look.
Yeah, just observe.
Take some time.
Just observe.
Just look. And how do you say it? Interiorize to let it sink in,
absorb.
Let it absorb, and let yourself allow yourself to be part of it.
Yes.
To be part of the experience.
Own it.
Yeah, because then you also get, at least it worked like that with me, you get a feeling of belonging to nature. You are part of the nature. Nature is part of you.
You feel your connection to life.
Yeah, and then you take care of it in a total different way.
Exactly.
Because then you are taking care of a part of you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So and that I know whenever kids come around here, and it's a really nice part of this setting, and what we do, for me at least, is try to teach kids to look at things.
Instill that passion in them.
Yeah. No, it's really nice, because I had once a kid that came second year. The first time was pre-COVID, and then was after the COVID, so there's a couple of years. A gap in between. And I have to confess, I didn't remember the kid, because but I saw him and he was running to me and saying, Tanya, I've got binoculars this time. We can go and watch the birds and see the frogs. And I was like, how lovely is that? I mean,
well done, you. Well done.
No, but it's really nice.
So
it feels so. And so when people say, well, you gave up your research career in biology or whatever.
This is living research.
But this is much. It's also really rewarding. It's another way to give back what I know to the community.
Oh, it's so exciting.
And I love it. And I'm not going to get away over here. So,
Guys, this is an invitation to come and discover this amazing place. Tanya, can you explain how you set this up?
Well, first we actually it was the idea. It started our desire to be in middle of nature, and that starts to be really difficult because you'll have a lot of farms and a lot of other things.
Yes.
But this was really untouched terrain
Yeah.
for quite some time because basically it's not useful for anything because it's just big stones.
And the soil.
There's no soil. You
too
can't.
deep, yeah.
Actually, where you have nature nowadays is where farm cannot be.
Yeah, right.
It's just the way it goes, particularly in Europe.
When we win the lottery, and it better be a huge one, we have to buy out all.
It has to be a big one. It has to be a really big one. But yeah, then we fell in love by this place.
Yeah, understand.
And actually, that's why the name comes from.
Yeah.
Because we were here with the cellars and it was winter. The stones were really covered in moss, so it was
beautiful.
a patchy of green.
Yeah.
The sisters rose, so these rock roses was full of flowers and smelling, and I just fell in love by it. And at that moment, I mean, we look at each other and we saw a group of bubulcus. So bubulcus
are cattle egrets.
Yeah, but it's always tricky with names of animals and plants. So we often use a scientific name because then I don't need to translate it into other languages.
Yeah.
So we look at each other at that moment. The trees were full of acorns, and that was it. Bubulcus and Bolotas, just because of the bird and the acorns.
Beautiful.
So it tries to bring our passion in nature. For the name. And then we tried to drill for a hole for water, which is a really problematic situation here. Because this is really a massive granite, so we have a borehole that goes 312 meters deep, like an Eiffel Tower the other way around. And it's officially dry, so we really need to ask everyone to be careful with water consumption.
I haven't showered today, and I didn't shower yesterday.
But I mean, you can just, shower, get water, and then you can stay 20 minutes if you want with the water out and
soap up.
But for the rest, we all collect rainwaters and everything. Yeah. So that's the part of the water. So we have a small pool and a pond for the frogs and and for because that's a different story.
I haven't got there yet.
that's a different story anyway. But we store all rainwater, so we have about 100,000 liters of rainwater in storage. Right. And then we are fully relying on solar panels. Yeah. So there's no connection to the rest of the world, basically. So we have to process it all year. But but it is such a pleasure. Yeah. I don't know. The feeling of getting the end of the day and like, oh, I didn't use any fossil fuel. I didn't. It's also a challenge. It's at some point it gets.
You're contributing to the well-being of the planet.
And everyone says, "Oh, but it's obviously in the whole picture. Yeah. This is a tiny little thing, but it's a contribution.
Exactly.
It's a show.
It's sharing.
It's sharing that it's possible. Yeah. Exactly. And as our son says, I mean, every action counts. Every tiny little thing. Same story with the ants. Yeah. Yeah. But you see, a tiny little effort.
The small repetitive actions make a big difference.
All together, it just makes a difference. Yeah, exactly. So
it's so exciting.
Well, this for me at least, having moved here, it's my mental sanity, is my peace of mind, is my health, body health, is everything.
Absolutely.
I couldn't imagine living myself elsewhere, and I couldn't imagine doing something else.
Now for the $1 million question: can we move in?
Well, you are welcome to say whatever. There's always place. Now, for people that can actually that can understand and then that can respect what we do, there's always a place. Yeah. For beaches that are accessible by car, so there where you can, that's a limited number, so we have only 10 indeed, and that's why we always say please call or send us a message before to guarantee. 10 places. We have a couple more, and they are really hidden between.
Number 23.
23 is really
pretty cool. Wow.
And number 17 as well.
Yeah. No, I haven't found that
17
one yet.
is occupied at the moment.
Right, okay.
But
that's the one that.
because they are.
Yeah,
we try to have privacy and space. Yeah. Obviously, in the place where the campers need to move is more limited because you have a neighbor somehow, but
the space between these are. We've been in some campsites and it's just like a parking lot. This is not a parking lot.
And we try to separate. I mean, if we have space,
Yeah.
you have that one occupied, and then we try not to have the other one occupied. With the tents, it's much easier because
sure,
and it's
less impact.
Yeah, sure. But there with the tents, you can cut with the car because again, that would damage the soil far too much. So
exactly.
cars can come here and then you just carry the stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, if you want to be in the middle of nature, you can just walk a couple of meters.
So for nature lovers, this gets 1,000 thumbs up from me. Thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure knowing you and meeting you.
God, no, thank you a lot for for your enthusiasm and for wanting to share our story.
It's so nice meeting someone else who's as enthusiastic as me.
As always. Really, people need to get enthusiastic about things.
Exactly.
Because it's also needed.
And nature is the best thing to be enthusiastic
you can always be grumpy, oh, there's a fly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, there's a fly. It's much nicer. The fly is there.
Speaking of flies, I saw an emerald, an emperor fly.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, the blue one.
It's nice.
So cool.
What is cool. Less now is the surfids, which are those, this year they are a lot less and I didn't think
the oil beetles. No,
it's a fly that mimics a wasp.
Right.
And they are often, this year I see them less, but maybe it has to do with the weather. I don't know. They're really cool. Yeah. It's also really fun when you know the difference between them because like you are in a terrace or something and everyone, whoa, wasp. It's not a wasp. By the way, the wasps also don't do a thing as long as you don't mess with them.
Don't do this.
They are there and you are here. It's just respect each other's space and it will be okay.
Exactly. Super. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. And we normally say keep rolling, but in this case, go out into nature and just enjoy. Lots of love, guys. Thanks for watching.